whatever decision is being made by the government, which is, multi-ethnic, we need to respect all the nations and the caretaker of this land. Every single major decision made by the government needs to take into account the repercussions for the next 7 generations, period.
Go where you want to go, do what you want to do.
What made you want to become a Canadian citizen?
Because this country really matches what I feel. Toronto is the world in one place to start with, and really I felt that everybody could be different, because here we recognize that we learn from the difference, and having this mosaic of cultures and different choices, different ethnies, different religious trends really makes the wealth of Canada. And this is why also tourists come to Toronto, is to see a variety, like a puzzle of very strong ethnical villages with a strong cultural identity.
How did it make you feel watching Justin Trudeau's comments about these protests? He classified us as racists, misogynists, and a number of other things that are hateful.
Well, I think that he's being sued actually, because the words he used is actually pushing people to hatred, and that's a criminal offense. And he obviously has not come, because if you go, I just come back from Ottawa, I was there until Friday, and it's really a celebration of freedom and happiness and life, and you can see children. So racist maybe, but there's people of all colors. There's a Chinese guy giving out flags, there's a Sikh guy, giving high fives. There's people, there's probably less people from the first generation of immigration, and I know about this because a few years back, as a new immigrant, I would not have had time to come to these events. So I feel extremely happy that lots of people show up. There's lots of different colors, white and all the colors of the rainbow, and this is what's fantastic. This is what Canada is, right?
Absolutely. What is the message that you are trying to push outside when you are going to march?
When I go to march, I really think of two things. Einstein said two things that really marked me. He said that during the Second World War, the people who were the guilty ones were somewhat the ones who had acted, but really the guilty ones were the people who remained silent. And I find that now remaining silent is really being accomplice to something that is really not clear. The other thing Einstein said, he said that everything is energy, and that the most potent energy is love. And David Bohm said the same thing, and Krishnamurti. And what I do is that I know that I'm an amplifier. I do lots of meditation, and I know we can bring in the light, and you amplify it in your heart by creating a feeling of tenderness, something that makes your heart soften and your face smile without even you knowing. And by creating that, I amplify this vibration, this feeling of love and light, and I consciously splash it around me each time I exhale. And this is what really I try to do, because I know this energy of love is the most potent of any other energy. It goes through walls, it goes through everything, it has no borders. And the potency of these energies, that there's been scientific studies that have been done. They had planned, I think, that there would be a reduction of 20% of the criminality rate in Washington if a certain amount of persons were meditating, and it did that. In Chernobyl in 1985, after the catastrophe, same thing. In places where people would meditate, I think the radiation dropped 85%. So it is really powerful. And I have a dream too, and I dream of a crowd who could really just think of something that makes them feel tender in their heart, and just closing their eyes, doing the best they can to bring their mind back to this tender moment, just because they can become these amplifiers. And if we do all that together, it would be like an immense light bulb of love and light exploding. And this has really potent energetic ramification that, if we're not aware of it, we all feel vibes, we all feel, and this has been scientifically proven anyways, right?
That's right, yeah. There's that old test they did with water freezing, and they gave negative comments to one glass of water, and then they gave positive affirmations to the other. And the way it froze was so beautiful with the positive, and with the negative, so ugly. And
It's exactly that. And imagine a crowd creating this feeling of love, how profoundly healing it is for every single person, for every single cell that resemble one of these snowflakes or water flakes. But also imagine this exponentially amplified by the crowd. Imagine the effect it can have, right?
So why do you feel the Trudeau government has an interest in misrepresenting yourself?
Well, because the real trinity is money, power, and control. And if you know, it's always easier to fool someone than convince oneself that he's been fooled, and it's difficult to recognize one's own fault. And I'm sure he has probably tremendous pressure, and is probably a bit of a puppet in that, right? And trying to act as he has the full power and control. But as Brian Beckford explained very quickly, it's important that we stop this now, because otherwise he may create a legal precedent, and that may give him an opportunity to erase democracy in Canada and replace it with, you know, a one-person controlled type government. And that is concerning. I moved into a democracy, and I wish Canada to remain a democracy. And when I was 20, I traveled all across Canada. I went back to France saying, my God, these people are so nice. Maybe one day I'll be there. And I really wish this to remain as so for the next 7 generations. That really should be added to our constitution, is that whatever decision is being made by the government, which is, you know, multi-ethnic, we need to respect all the nations and the caretaker of this land. Every single major decision made by the government needs to take into account the repercussions for the next 7 generations, period. This is the law of the land. This is the law drafted by the people who helped the first pioneers survive. It is thanks to that there is Canada, and this needs to be acknowledged, period.
Be who you wanna be.